So 2021 Camry, we're in a little bit of a wave where we have some redesigned and refreshed product. You've just recently got the all-new RAV4 Prime, and you will be getting in the all-new Venza as early as next week delivered to your dealerships. So the Camry while it's not all new, we launched this current generation as a 2018 model 3 years ago. So we're halfway through the life cycle, and we typically do the minor change refresh. So that's what this is for 21 model, and we'll go over those changes. So we're doing everything we can to keep this model fresh and exciting for customers and a little bit newer in the market. Also keep in mind that a lot of the competition for Camry has gone away. Our domestic competition is no longer there. So this is our chance to pick up market share, dominate this mid-size sedan market, and Camry is the vehicle to do that. So we'll go over all the changes there. You should see the new Camry sometime maybe late September, October timeframe. They're going to start building them next month, so they're coming. They're right around the corner. So one of the things we did is we added a new grade and changed the grade strategy slightly for the 21 model year. So now there's a total of 17 different grades for Camry, 3 V6 grades, and then 5 four-cylinder front drive grades, and the equivalent all-wheel drive grades for those same 5. What you may notice is we dropped the L grade as the entry, so now the LE grade is the entry-level Camry. And now we have 4 hybrid grades with the addition of the new XSE Camry Hybrid. So there's basically something for everyone in the Camry lineup. So some of the highlights for this refresh, there's some new technology. So the Camry will be the first Toyota in North America to feature the newest version of Safety Sense. So everything we've redesigned recently has Safety Sense 2.0, and this newer version is called 2.5 Plus, and I will go through the changes there in a second. As I mentioned previously, we added a XSE hybrid grade, which we did not have before, so that's exciting. There's some interior changes, including new displays, some exterior changes, including some color changes. And again, we dropped that L grade as the base grade. So a little bit of design change, a little bit of technology change, a little bit of packaging change for 21 model. So let's talk a little bit about the changes for the Toyota Safety Sense system. So like I said, this one's called 2.5 Plus, and the changes focus around the pre-collision system and the radar cruise. So there are a couple of enhancements, and I'll play a little video for you right now and kind of talk over those changes. So before I start the video, this slide is showing the PSS 2.0 pre-collision sort of parameters, so what it's designed to detect in the 2.0 system. So it's looking for vehicles in front of you, both during day and night situations, also pedestrians during both day and night, and of course bicyclists as well, but just during the day. So the 2.0 systems currently do that. And then what the 2.5 Plus system will do is add a couple more features to the pre-collision, one being intersection support. So in this first example, you're making a left turn in an intersection. The system will look for oncoming vehicles so that you don't accidentally turn in front of an oncoming vehicle while making a left turn. Also, pedestrians and sidewalks at intersections, it will look for oncoming pedestrians whether you're turning left or right. So some great enhancements there. And then a new feature is called emergency steering support. So when the system indicates that there's an obstacle up front, gives you a warning, and you maneuver in response to that warning, you create a new path for the vehicle. Well, it'll look at that new path and see if there are any obstacles in that new path. And it will give you a little bit of steering assist to help you make the proper steering decisions to avoid the new obstacle. Okay, so that's emergency steering support. Obviously, it will not activate if there are oncoming vehicles or vehicles in that path already. So those are two of the enhancements that are part of that TSS 2.5 system. So just to review quickly, intersection support for left turns. And if you've ever watched any dash cam videos, intersections are a problem across the world, and making a left turn is typically where we have problems. So this is just an alert or emergency braking system that will prevent you from possibly turning left in front of an oncoming vehicle. And then pedestrian support as well in the intersection to protect pedestrians. And emergency steering assist. Again, when you make emergency maneuvers, you sometimes overcorrect. This will help you stay out of trouble as much as possible. So two great enhancements, actually three for the pre-collision system with 2.5 plus. So the Camry is just the first North American vehicle to get that system. As we redesign future vehicles, they will get that system as well. So vehicles probably like upcoming Sienna later this year will be the next vehicle. An enhancement with the radar cruise control is also part of 2.5 plus. So this new feature allows for smoother overtaking of slower vehicles. So as you know, the DRCC will keep a safe following distance between you and the car in front of you. Now, if you're going faster or you have a higher set speed than the car in front of you, the system will slow you down. So if you go to pass that vehicle, our current system will wait till you totally clear the vehicle in the clear lane and accelerate you back up to your set speed. What this enhancement does is when you apply the turn signal and apply steering input in that direction, it will give you an initial increase in acceleration so that you don't have to do it manually, and it's not as abrupt when you finally get in the clearing lane. Okay, so just an enhancement for better and smoother passing as part of that system. Okay, so intersection support and DRCC are two nice upgrades to the TSS system, a system we're constantly testing and enhancing at Toyota. Another system that's a relatively new system is the rear seat reminder system. So this is actually debuted on Highlander as standard equipment and is now will be standard on the 21 Camry. So the way this works is if the system detects that you've opened a rear door within 10 minutes of the vehicle being started, or any time after the vehicle has been started, once you turn the vehicle off, it'll give you a reminder in the form of a message in the instrument cluster or a chime that you should check the back seat. So obviously this is for just making sure you don't leave anything or anybody in the rear seat unintentionally. So a great new feature that will be standard on all Camrys. So at this point, let me switch over to Jeremy and he'll walk you through the rest of the presentation.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Brian. So let's talk a little bit about a new feature for Camry, and that is the new all-wheel drive system. I know everybody who's been selling Toyotas for a long time, that's all we've heard is, when are we going to have an all-wheel drive Camry? Well, it's finally here, and I just want to cover a little bit about how that system works. Hopefully most of you are going to be pretty familiar with it because it is the same system we use on the RAV4. So it's dynamic torque control. So just like you would find on an LE or XLE RAV4, it's not the torque vectoring, which you would get on, say, a Limited, but it does have great all-wheel drive capability. So it is a single speed transfer case. So the nice thing is customers don't have to press anything. They don't have to move any levers or engage anything. It works automatically. Of course, the vehicle is normally front-wheel drive under normal conditions, but anytime it detects wheel slippage, you accelerate rapidly, or even during cornering, it will deliver at least or up to 50% of the torque to the rear wheels. Right, so the torque is distributed front to rear. It cannot distribute it side to side like on, say, a limited RAV with the torque vectoring all-wheel drive system. But still a great enhancement for Camry, and I know that's one of the things that customers and, of course, a lot of you have been asking for a long time. So it's finally here. Don't forget to mention it to customers. They're probably not aware that we have it yet, so make sure you're putting that out in front of them. We do have a few other changes in terms of color on Camry for 21. So Blueprint is going to be the new blue that replaces Blue Streak Metallic. And the XSE grade now offers a two-tone supersonic red with the midnight black roof combination. So you can get the supersonic red with the black roof on an XSE. And a new exclusive color for the TRD Camry, which is Ice Edge with the two-tone midnight black roof. So that's exclusive to TRD, so it's a new color, great new color. If you haven't seen it already, you can see some of the pictures in the press release. All right, so like Brian said, there has been a refresh. It's hard to believe that Camry's already been out, this new redesigned Camry, for over 3 years. We're actually in the 4th model year, starting with 21. So we do have what we call our mid-cycle refresh, and that means we typically change the front fascia a little bit, add a few new features, as many of them Brian went over. But for example, this XLE, you can see in there in the corner, we have this new front fascia, and it's got this LED light strip that's kind of a looks like a number 7 almost on the outside of the front bumper there. So that's kind of a new design, and it's got a little bit different design on each grade, like the SE, XSE, and TRD models. You've also got redesigned 18-inch alloy wheels on XLE Camry, so those are all new for 21. And the dash has been redesigned, so it's really not the entire dash, it's the center stack. You probably can tell right away that we've now put that kind of floating touchscreen, very much like you'd see on a Highlander or RAV4. So it was previously, the touchscreen was kind of flush in that center stack dash area. It's kind of just blended in with the other controls. Now it kind of stands proud or floats out a little bit further away from the dash, right? And that is up to a 9-inch touchscreen. You can see here on the XLE Camry. We've also got new interior on XLE. It's called a herringbone seat pattern. So you can see it's just a different design in the center part of the seat cushion and seat back. Right, so just a nice subtle touch on the interior. Of course, XSE Camry Hybrid. So that is all new for the Camry Hybrid lineup. We did not have an XSE grade before, and now we do. So we've got LE, SE, XLE, and XSE all available in hybrid. So there's another shot of it. And of course, it is available in the two-tone combination with certain colors with the black roof. And of course, new wheels, new black wheels on that XSE as well. And there's a shot of the interior, the dark interior, again with that floating screen. So that floating screen is going to be on all Camry grades. Now the size will vary based on model, but you can see XSE and XLE will get that 9-inch screen. Now the Camry TRD. So some upgrades here, some changes at least. You know, we've got this performance model. It's got an all-new 19-inch matte black alloy wheel, very lightweight, saves a couple pounds per wheel. You've also got that rear pedestal wing, that spoiler on the trunk that just, it does stick up a little bit more than what you would expect on a Camry at least. And gloss black red pinstripe aero kit. So that lower aero kit along the rocker panels and the front and rear of the vehicle will be gloss black with red pinstripes. And you'll also have some black exterior accents in that vehicle. And of course, that is only available in our 301 horsepower V6. We're one of the few automakers in the midsize sedan segment that still offers a V6 in this segment. Most of them have gone to 4-cylinder turbos. We've also added a catback dual exhaust system with 4-inch stainless steel exhaust tips. So if you get an XSE V6, you know you've got the quad exhaust tips, so you've got 2 smaller exhaust tips on each side. Well, with the TRD version, you will get one larger exhaust tip on each side of the vehicle, so 2 exhaust tips total. You're also going to get pretty big brakes on this. TRD brakes, 12.9-inch front rotors with dual piston calipers, so great stopping power. You'll also have a TRD tuned suspension, reinforced underbody bracing, and a rear seat V-brace. So what that means is the TRD in the rear seat, you will not be able to fold the seat back down. Right, so all the other models you can fold the seat back down, but the TRD version, because of that brace, if you were able to fold the seat down, well, there would be a big metal brace in the middle, so it wouldn't be of much use for loading large objects in your vehicle. So it doesn't fold for that reason. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some competitors. Of course, one of the reasons we wanted to showcase Camry for 21 is not just because of all the changes for the refresh, but also is our goal is to keep Camry #1. Right? It's been the #1 selling mid-size car, #1 selling passenger car actually for the last 18 years. And we want to make it 19 and 20. And this year is a bit of a struggle with everything with COVID and production. We've really got to focus on Camry for the rest of the year. So make sure when you're talking to customers, you're highlighting all the things we mentioned: the all-wheel drive, the latest safety technology that we have available, the new enhancements in the interior with the touchscreen, and of course, you know, all the connected services that are available on our vehicles. So let's take a look at the 2020 Camry SE versus the Honda Accord Sport 1.5 turbo. So that would be comparable models. Their base engine is the 1.5 liter turbo. If you look at IntelliChoice, and I like that website, it gives you a great view of how much you're going to spend to own a particular vehicle for 5 years. So in the case of the Camry versus the Accord, you're going to save about $1,380 over the course of the first 5 years of ownership. And while it may not sound like a lot, if you just divide that by 60 months or your 60-month payment that a lot of people may have on a vehicle, it's about $42 a month you're going to save to own the Camry over the Accord. So when you kind of break it down like that, it seems a little bit more of a bigger advantage than just saying, well, I'm going to save about $1,300 over 5 years. 10 airbags versus 8. So we always have more airbags than our competitors typically. You know, Honda's upped their game a little bit with this new Accord. It's got 8. Normally they would have 6 in most of their vehicles. 1-year Safety Connect, standard on all grades of Camry, where you have to get the top of the line touring model Accord in order to get that same kind of connected technology. So it's not even available as an option on the lower grades. Also, Sirius XM, we give you the 3-month trial period on all grades. You've got to get the 2-liter turbo in order to get Sirius XM. So basically their 2-liter turbo is the equivalent of our V6. So it's like, well, you have to upgrade to the V6 model of the Accord essentially to get Sirius XM in the vehicle. Of course, available Remote Connect. Now we do have that as an available option with the Audio Plus upgraded head unit or above. It's only available on the touring model. Again, the most expensive model you'll have to get in order to get that same remote connectivity. And don't forget, we've got all-wheel drive. It's not something that you can get on a Honda. So a lot of advantages over the Honda. And don't forget Toyota Care. Of course, Honda doesn't offer anything like it. So make sure you're telling your customers about all those advantages. Sometimes, you know, they're willing to walk over 10 or 15 bucks a month, but, you know, when you can show them all this other value and savings and features they can't get on that other vehicle, it does make a difference. All right, so let's take a look at the Hyundai Sonata SEL versus our SE Camry. Here we really shine in the 5-year cost of ownership, so $2,536. So substantial savings. Most of that's due to depreciation, of course, on the Hyundai. Our 203 horsepower base engine, our 4-cylinder, gets 32 miles per gallon. They have 191 horsepower, so a little bit less, and only 31 miles per gallon. So less power, less miles per gallon. We've got 10 airbags. They've got fairly impressive 9. They're one of the closest competitors in terms of the number of airbags. We've got standard 18-inch alloys on the SE. They give you a little bit smaller 17-inch alloy wheel. And we've got 6-way power passenger seat versus their 4-way. And of course, same thing. We've got Toyota Care. We've also got all-wheel drive, which you cannot get again on the Sonata. And lastly, the Nissan Altima SR. So cost of ownership, even better now. $3,174 is the savings you get over the Altima, and that's not really a surprise when you look at depreciation on that vehicle. Horsepower-wise, we do have a significant advantage. You see 203 versus their 188, and again, 1 mile per gallon increase on the fuel economy, which is surprising. Nissan was always kind of known for having more horsepower in their engines over the years, and now it's kind of, we've kind of switched and taken the lead on that in most of these segments. Power lumbar, you can get that, of course, on an SE Camry, but it's a $1,000 option on the SR Ultima. So just for a small feature like power lumbar, you're going to pay over $1,000. And of course, hybrid. We've got a hybrid powertrain. It's not available in the Ultima, but they do have an all-wheel drive version of the Ultima, so we do have something to compete with that. So don't worry if somebody's looking for all-wheel drive. Yeah, well, we've got it too. And of course, Toyota Care. So again, some highlights here on Camry. Best-selling car 18 years running. Let's work hard for the rest of the year, make it 19. You know, we're again a little bit behind. Actually, #1 car right now happens to be the Civic, if you can believe it. So let's really push for Camry and Corolla too. Every Corolla you sell is probably one less Civic on the road. 17 different grades to choose from. So we've got something for everybody. Doesn't matter if you're looking for just a good solid 4-cylinder transportation. You want something with a little bit more power like a V6, we've got it. You want something very fuel efficient, 50 miles per gallon, no problem. We've got the hybrid. We've even got a performance model with the TRD. And now with the addition of all-wheel drive, we've even got something for people who live in the more colder states, I guess, with more inclement weather, so you can get around regardless of what's happening outside. And the new XSE hybrid grade, don't forget about that. That's a new addition to the hybrid lineup. So not just SC, we've got another sport grade, the XSE. And of course, this is the first vehicle in our lineup to debut the Safety Sense 2.5 Plus. So that's our latest safety technology. And of course, we put it in our kind of our #1 selling vehicle, which is Camry, our #1 selling passenger car. Now, the all-new 7 or 9-inch touchscreen, depending on grade. So that is the new touchscreen that does kind of protrude from the dash. We call it kind of a floating touchscreen. So that works just the same as the previous generation, or the 2020, but it just has a different look and stands out from the dash a little bit. So functions the same, just the look and usability is probably a little bit better.